And we are live. Welcome everyone to Ask Me About My Draculas, where we explain supernatural TV shows, books, and movies. I am one of your hosts, Kel McDonald, and I make comics that you can find at kelmcdonald.com.
And I'm the co-host, Ma'at Crook, and you can find me at maatcrook.com.
And our guests this week are...
I'm Drew Roush.
And I'm Jocelyn Gageway.
We are the creators of My Blacks Don't Match webcomic that you can find on drewroush.com. It's about this spooky little town that suffers from the fear of Halloween.
All right. And this week we're going to talk about A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, which Ma and I have not seen, so we're going to say what we think it's about. And I think... I kind of already know what it's about because I want to see it, but I'm just gonna make up something goofy. I think it's about someone who just has an epic adventure as they go home from work late at night.
I was gonna do the same thing, but I didn't think about it carefully enough beforehand. A girl walking home at night with her pet vampire cat. We'll go for that. Okay. And if there is a vampire cat in this movie, then I will be floored because it does not sound like what I learned about the movie, because I have really wanted to watch it for a while. Doesn't sound like that would actually be the case.
You're actually both not far off.
I know there's skateboarding involved, which is pretty cool.
There is some skateboarding. Well, according to IMDb, the official description is in the Iranian ghost town Bad City, a place that reeks of death and loneliness. The townspeople are unaware they are being stalked by a lonesome vampire.
It's also not a very good
description. It's not a very good description either.
Yeah.
So, what's the movie open with? What sets the scene?
Well, let's start off.
It does. The opening is great.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a James Dean wannabe searching for his cat in a rundown shack.
There's a cat involved.
The cat is your eyes into the movie.
He's literally the linchpin of this whole.
I think the first time we watched it, we spent the whole movie anxious for the cat. He's this enormous white and tabby striped monstrosity.
I have to say, when I first saw Alien, which was fairly recently, I spent the whole movie worried about the cat. So
you have to, cozy, yeah, totally. So this movie, the James Dean guy, his name's Arash. And he is, definitely like this kind of like rebel.
Leather jacket, white t-shirt, smoldering gazes.
Kind of poofy hair.
Yeah.
Like not really messy, but not
appropriately disheveled.
Yeah, that'll work. So he is. Just kind of like your average working guy. He has this kind of old, I'm gonna say it's a convertible.
I'd say it's a late 50s ragtop, but It's definitely a car you'd see as a hot rod at a classic car show. Big fins, little windows. It's a coupe.
And his dad's kind of a mess. He's like a. They keep calling him. Medicine, but he's
a
heroin addict. So it starts off kind of like with Arash finding this cat. Oh, and Bad City. So we want to say it takes place today. It definitely.
It's in no time, really.
But yeah, it nothing really aside from like a couple shots of a cell phone. It could have been any time period. Bad City is like this industrial kind of wasteland, and there's this scene in the very beginning where he's driving past this ditch of just bodies.
So is that like people that have been like poisoned from like industrial waste, or is that vampires did it?
It's never really explained. It's just like this border between one part of town or the outside world and then the interior of the city itself, because then he opens a gate and goes back in. But it's like, yeah, this ditch, and you look at it and you're like, what's in there? And it's just corpses. It's like a mass grave.
Wow.
And while he finds this cat, there's a boy. And the boy's asking him for money. And Arash is like, I don't have any money, kid, go away, you're bothering me. And the kid's like, well, you have this fancy new car. And Arash is like, do you know how many...
Then he's all like, I spent all my money on drugs, so I don't have any.
So he's very poor. He's very poor. He lives in like this little... Yeah, Bad City's just a mess. And it's kind of great because in a way the movie feels like a comic book.
Yeah, it's all black and white.
And it's all black and white, which is great. Definitely has like this cool 1950s B-movie look to it. Aside from the really weird lens flares that happen.
Yeah.
Like J.J. Abrams level.
Only a few
scenes.
scenes.
Yeah.
J.J. Abrams made a 50s B movie.
A little bit, yeah.
No, it makes a lot more sense than any Abrams movie I've seen. And it definitely has its own voice. So.
Yeah. It's great. For going further, it's actually directed by.
Anna Lily Amirpour.
Yeah, I'm going to butcher every name here. And this is based on a short that she did. Apparently she's not done anything but shorts. This is her first full-length feature film. And I think...
Does that show, like, is it maybe the pacing's a little bit weird because it's bigger, or...
Surprisingly, no.
No, I wouldn't say... There are things that you could definitely tell that a first-time feature director would do. There's this scene with
character you at a party with the balloon.
Yeah, like
it doesn't fit.
It doesn't fit. Like she was like channeling David Lynch or something.
Or something that was in earlier, and most of those scenes got edited out for time, and then one remained and it stopped making sense. But
other than that, I really, for an hour, it's like what, an hour and 40 minutes?
Yeah.
It's a pretty tight script. I use the word script loosely because there's not a lot of dialogue. It's a testament to the actors that she got, and she knew how to direct them, because it's one of those movies where you have to watch it.
Awesome.
Everything is very subtle. I'll get to the one scene in a minute. But anyway, so this guy Arash, we were introduced to his family life, and it's terrible. Meanwhile, so Arash goes home, and we meet Bad City's drug lord.
The guy that's selling drugs to his dad?
Yeah. And this guy looks like the Iranian third member of Diane Wood.
Whoa.
He has sex tattooed on his neck. The word sex. Yeah.
He is a track-suited, greasy-haired, gold chain wearing.
Likes tigers.
Likes tigers a lot.
Well, tigers are pretty great.
Yeah, he loves them. It's his favorite animal for sure.
Yeah, his name is cited by Dominic Raines, I think, according to IMDb. But yeah, I said he looks like an 80s, like a Russian villain or gangster from an 80s action movie. He's just got that, that kind of trope to him.
He looks like the guys in Hawkeye that say bro all the time.
Yes, yes, that's exactly.
Totally.
And he's the local drug dealer.
But he's also a pimp on the side. Because we are introduced to one of his girls.
who Hossein has lost all their money to after his wife left. So that's the origin of Hossein's downfall into drugs and why the pimp is showing up at his house threatening everyone is because he's in love with Adi the prostitute.
Yeah, Hussein's the father, by the way.
Okay.
So we're like, I think like
10 minutes into the movie.
10, 15 minutes in the movie. There's not a vampire yet. So I think it's important to point out that both of us felt this wasn't so much a horror movie per se, more like a character-driven drama where one of the characters just happens to be a vampire.
All right.
At this point, she's not even the main character. Is she the main character at all in the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say she is. She is the main character.
But her predatory nature is not the aspect that they focus on.
Like if you're going in thinking you're going to be seeing like.
It's not a mystery about who's killing these people, or it's not a horrific thing. It's just part of who she is.
Yeah. And it kind of came out. It came out. I don't actually know when it came out. 2014. But we saw it right after.
Only Lovers
Left Alive, and we were actually talking about it last night that Only Lovers Left Alive and A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night were sort of like two sides of the same coin.
Oh, we're going to talk about that one in February.
We're going to talk about it on Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day, yep.
It's a great.
That was our date.
That was our date
last year, actually. But they are. It's both that. It's about the life of a vampire without the mechanics of being a vampire.
So Only Lovers Left Alive is a very, very quiet movie. Like, not a lot happens in it. Is that similar to A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night?
Yeah, I would say more happens in Only Lovers Left Alive.
See, I disagree. I think that there's more that happens, but it happens very quietly. So
there was also where Only Lovers Left Alive played very close with the vampire rules, and you were sort of told them throughout the movie. A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night is, she's a vampire and she doesn't go out in the day, and that's kind of where any kind of vampire tropes.
Well, except that she's lit like Bela Lugosi, and she
Yeah,
kind of all of her expressions are definitely drawn from the universal vampire sense of disaffectedness and bored and lonely with the world.
So, I guess, and then, so we're at the point now where the pimp is getting
he steals
a service. Oh yeah, that's right. He steals
Arash's car. And goes and picks up his girl to get his cut. And she says she's light, so she goes down on him.
And this prostitute she's not what like an American would think a prostitute would look like. I kind of thought she looked a little bit like Betty Page a little bit. Like that classic pin-up-y girl.
Yeah, well, I mean, everything's set in a country where women would be sheltered and veiled most of the time. All the women cover their hair when they're outside, and the vampire actually wears a abaya, which works very effectively, actually.
It kind of looks like she's wearing a cape. Really cool. The way like she holds it together, it's very, very Lugosi-like. So anyway, so we're kind of left with the pimp and the prostitute, but as we pan out, somebody is clearly watching them.
It's her.
And it's her. Oh, and the vampire, I want to give her a name, but she doesn't have one. She's just simply known as the girl.
Okay. Excuse me.
Lula wants in on this vampire talk.
No, cat.
Dinner time, too.
Dog times are important.
Especially when you're running a live podcast.
Yeah.
Is she gonna come back as a vampire?
Yeah. Good dog times.
Oh yeah, good dog times.
So the vampire doesn't have a name, so she's just referred to as the girl, or
The girl.
No, she's never referred to by anything in the film.
And Rash actually, there's a point where he does ask her name, and
she just walks away.
Walks away. So no name for her.
What about the prostitute? Is she named?
Ati.
Ati, yeah.
And she is referred to by name.
So then we follow
the girl and the pimp.
And the pimp, yeah. The pimp runs into her, and it's, what does he say to her? What do we do now, or something, or what do we do? It's so weird.
Yeah, he awkwardly hits on her and kind of implies that she's another prostitute.
Right.
And they go back to his flat,
which is amazing.
His flat is amazing.
Tigers.
Yes.
Yes.
Tigers and.
Oh my god.
I mean, you've got cats and blow everywhere. He brings her and he sits down and he does like 4 lines.
Yeah, he kept. You want to do a line?
Yeah. Puts on a bunch of bad techno music and starts like doing bicep curls and.
That's great. Yes. She's just standing there.
And she's standing there staring.
And she's just kind of like taking it all in and not really showing any emotion. And he's like all over the place. He's doing lines.
Aren't my tigers and blow great?
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much.
Look at my tattoos and dance with me.
This horrible music is happening, and he's doing lines of blow, and he's smoking. And like at one point, he goes over to the radio and he puts on like this slow techno, and just starts doing bicep curls.
It totally sounds like Diane would.
Right, exactly. And for like 10 minutes, he's just doing bicep curls. And she's just completely unimpressed. And then he starts doing sexy dancing.
Like grinding up against her.
And she's just standing there, like, bored by all of this.
Yeah, completely just unaffected.
And so...
she goes and plays the drums. She bangs.
Oh, yeah, she walks away from him. He's got a drum kit for some reason. I don't know. But just to kind of give you an idea of this pad, there is a giant mural of a pot leaf on the wall. There's a tiger blanket.
Tiger blanket on the couch, and all these taxidermied antelope heads.
He's got the blow in a silver suitcase.
Yeah, the cocaine and the money's in a suitcase with a lock. Probably has a handcuff on one side.
Yeah, it's definitely what
someone who has never experienced it would expect an American gangster apartment to look like.
It's pretty.
It had that
classic.
every note that you would expect to see in that was there, and it's comical almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so he kind of tries to serenade her a little bit, and he's like, and she's touching him, and there's this weird thing with she takes his finger and puts it in her mouth.
No, her fangs first. You see her fangs.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, she pops her
scared.
fangs. She pops her fangs, and the effect looks very similar to True Blood. If you've ever seen True Blood.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The kind of switchblade fangs.
Yeah.
Like click click. They're not great. I found them a little weird because they're kind of curved a little. Like they're not like traditional vampire fangs. They kind of almost.
They're more like viper fangs than.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look cheesy or anything. I thought it was just kind of weird. And yeah, so then she's like with his finger.
Yeah, she like sucks on his finger and then bites it off.
And that's pretty much, that scene is probably the most violent and bloody scene, and it's very...
It's the only scene with any blood.
It's very tame. I mean, as long as you
don't mind seeing her.
A severed finger.
And as long as you're not that guy.
Well, yeah, because
he's definitely unhappy.
She shoves the finger back in
his mouth
and then kills him.
And it's definitely like a viper strike when she bites him. It's not. It's not sexy or mysterious or anything like that or sensual. I mean, she just. There's like a growl, and it's like a really quick shot of her biting. And so yeah, the pimp dies, which is kind of sad. I mean,
he was fun.
He was a good character.
Yeah, I would have liked
in his ridiculous love of tigers.
Right, he was very ridiculous. I was hoping they'd do more with his ridiculousness.
And then she robs him blind. I mean, every piece of jewelry that she can take, everything of value, she shoves
except the blow.
Yeah, she doesn't take the cocaine and she doesn't take the money, just objects. And she leaves.
She leaves, and
Arash is there.
Arash is there, and he somehow manages to get. Oh, we forgot the whole scene with Arash and the princess.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That.
So we kind of skipped ahead a little bit. There's a third character, or another character in this little love triangle.
Hussein's a gardener at the boss, the town boss's estate. He has a beautiful daughter.
A beautiful daughter, who in the film is called the princess.
Yeah.
That's her name. It's like the girl and the princess.
It's her real name, but
and they call her Shada in the movie. But she, if you were breaking down all these roles into the tropes, she's the princess in the tower, but she's kind of a brat.
Yeah. And she calls him over to fix her TV, which I didn't think was broken.
No, I think she wanted to
seduce
him.
But she was on the phone.
Or just be rebellious.
She was very, very terrible at seducing.
Well, no, very terrible at being seduced.
Yeah.
He threw her out of the room, her own room. I have to fix your TV, and you can't be in here because it's inappropriate.
Right.
But then he steals her jewelry.
Yeah.
He just
steals
her diamond earrings. Yeah. To try and buy back his car.
Right.
Oh.
That's right.
That's why he's outside of the house when the girl leaves.
So I'm sorry about
okay.
that. So now we're at the girl leaving the pimp's house, and Arash is there to get his car, and this is when we see a cell phone because he's calling from outside. Clearly, he's not answering because he's very dead. And then
he's coming out,
and he goes in. Yeah, like they pass each other.
And she pulls the cloak around her and kind of disappears into it for a second. So like he doesn't notice her or pay attention. She's got blood on her face and jewelry in her hand. And he goes upstairs and there's the body.
There's the body, and he gets the key back for his car.
Yeah, and that's all he cares about, so he doesn't do
anything. And he takes the blow and the money.
Okay, he also takes the blow and the money. That's important.
Because, that's important.
Well, I guess you need...
Well, it furthers the plot.
And the heroin. Because I think the heroin helps, too, because he gives it to his pet.
Oh, you're right. So, but he leaves the weights there. He leaves the bad music. Oh, but she takes a CD.
Does she take?
Yes.
I thought she.
Because remember, she's So she's at after
she's stealing.
After she's stealing all his stuff, she's flipping through his CDs, and this kind of comes into play later. And she's like looking at that CD.
Oh, okay.
So you're kind of like.
Yeah, I missed that.
Yeah.
What's on the CD? What music?
Well, it doesn't really.
Is it his bad workout blow music?
She is the only character in the whole film that listens to Western music. So the rest of the music, the score, anything that people are listening to on the radio or on their CD players is Arabic music.
Yeah.
In Arabic.
Except for her.
And she listens to Western music.
Like there's a line where Arash actually asks her, what was the last song you listened to? And she says,
Hello by Lionel Richie.
Hello by Lionel Richie.
Very diverse taste in music.
She kind of looks like. I'll get to that in a second. So we get to. I guess we go. Oh, this is where she gets the skateboard.
Yes. She's walking back and she threatens the little boy we see at the beginning of the movie.
Who was asking Arash for money, right?
And she asks him, are you a good boy? Are you a good boy? Are you a good boy? Like, he keeps saying yes, and then she gets all spooky voiced and tells him, if you're not, I'm going to come and find you, and I'm going to pop your eyes right out of your skull. Kid basically wets himself and runs down the street, leaving the skateboard behind.
And it's a really cool scene because, like, she picks up the skateboard, and it's like there's a childlike wonder to her, where like she's clearly been around for a really long time, but
not completely jaded.
she's not completely jaded, yeah. And she's like, wow, look, a skateboard. And then like the next scene, she immediately knows how to ride a skateboard because she's a fire, and she's riding down the street
with her cloak.
with the cloak flapping in the wind, and it's really awesome, like good, like, amazing visual of this cape just flowing behind her, like a bat. So that was really cool. And then we see her flat, which is the next really cool thing
the
about
basement
this movie.
flat. So there's no windows and just one door in and a long corridor down.
It kind of just looks like a bedroom.
Yeah, it's like a single room basement apartment.
And
I don't think there's a kitchen.
all her posters are of Western bands.
Madonna.
There's Madonna. Yeah, I think I saw a Depeche Mode one. And it's also the first time that she takes off her cloak. And without her cloak, she kind of looks like an 80s like French pop girl. Like she's got like a black and white striped t-shirt and skinny black jeans, short black bob, eyeliner, black lipstick, and yeah, she's pretty cool. It wasn't what I was expecting.
Like she could have died in the 80s?
Maybe. Like,
or she liked that, and she
seems to like that era. Like all the music she listens to has like an 80s sound to it. So that was pretty cool.
So it's just she really likes Western 80s culture.
Yeah.
Which was neat.
Which, I suppose this could be one of those moments I always feel when I watch foreign horror movies that I'm a step behind on any cultural references. So there could be a cultural reference there that's being missed. So, when major political shift took place and things got more closed off, or there may be a statement there that's just I'm not getting because I'm not aware of living in that culture.
Mm-hmm.
So after that,
but it doesn't take anything away from enjoying the movie.
Not at all.
Oh no, not at all. And that was actually really cool. Like Jocelyn was saying, was sometimes when you watch a lot of we watch a lot of foreign horror movies, and sometimes there's a misstep in the script or something, or you're not quite.
You're a little lost in a reference or a little lost in something, and that's part of it. But you might have a deeper understanding if you had, a very broad knowledge or a very deep knowledge of the culture it came from, but you're not missing anything either. There's no barrier to entry at all.
Mm-hmm.
The party.
So then, there's a party.
Arash becomes the local drug dealer.
Oh, right.
The drug dealer with the heart of gold, basically. He's got the drugs, and they need the money.
He only sells. It seems like he's only selling to the workers at the industrial plant.
Yeah, and he's not breaking caps or anything.
Yeah.
Does that go against how he feels about his dad being a drug addict?
Well, yeah, because he ends up fighting with his dad a lot more.
Yeah, it definitely causes a strain because he's trying to make things better.
He's not giving drugs to his dad either.
Yeah, he doesn't do that.
He doesn't, try and feed his habit. You see his dad starting to go through withdrawal and all these things. There's a lot of quiet family scenes too. It's definitely a character. You see his character more.
But this is kind of where the James Dean kind of rebel kind of shines through a little bit. He's got aviator sunglasses on, leather jacket, white t-shirt, and he's just kind of foot on the wall, standing there in front of this industrial complex, taking money and
handing out.
But looking super cool about it. If you were an Iranian kid, you would want to be selling drugs in front of industrial complexes.
Oh, yeah. He goes to a costume party where the rich girl and her friends are in attendance, and he's dressed as Dracula. So he makes a cape with a cardboard collar, and he's wearing
He actually when he turns around, so he's got like black lipstick on his eyes.
Yeah, it's a black eyeliner.
Yeah, and the princess girl is like.
I heard you had
Ecstasy. Or no, but when he introduces himself, he's like, "I'm Dracula."
No, they told me to find Dracula.
Oh right, yeah.
Arash, it's you. They just told me to find Dracula, and he had the drugs.
Yeah. Aren't you scared? And she's, oh yeah, I'm terrified. And yeah, he wasn't very terrifying.
So does the vampire hang out with him due to irony or whatever?
I want to say yes, because that's really sweet.
I think it starts as pity, actually, because he goes to the party, and he is basically coerced into taking his own drugs. So he takes an ecstasy, and he's just rolling, and the whole night, and he's at the party, and he leaves, and he's walking down this.
Well, somebody gives him plastic fangs.
Oh yeah, he starts to hit on the princess, and her boyfriend said, kind of pushes him aside and shows a set of plastic fangs in his mouth.
So,
and he's just standing there for a while, and then he leaves.
Giant plastic fangs.
Wandering the streets alone, staring at streetlights like you would expect, and he's lost. And the girl comes down the hill on her skateboard and stops him, and they start.
Well, she's like, sort of like, why is this guy just kind of standing there?
Yeah, she stares at him for a while, and they.
Oh, that's when he says, "I'm Dracula."
Yes.
But he's got the plastic. Yeah, he's got plastic. So
So eventually, he gets to the point where he's not able to stand. He's like, I have to sit down. So he sits down, and she goes, I don't think you're allowed to sit here. My place isn't far.
Let's go there. Yeah.
Let's go there. And she tries to get him to stand up, and he won't. Yeah. So she loads him on the skateboard and pushes him on the skateboard back to her apartment.
And it's just he's in full like Dracula garb, and he's just kind of like sitting there like a little child. And she's just pushing him.
I think she can't decide whether she wants to kill him or befriend him.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And they go back to her flat. And she puts on.
And he has, or he becomes fascinated by a disco ball on the ceiling, and he's
staring at it.
But this is where she puts on that song.
That White Lies song.
It's this song by a band called White Lies. I can't remember the name of the song.
It's really good song.
It was a really good song, but it's the first time I've ever seen in a movie where the entire song is played from beginning to end. It's like a 4-minute song. And they just have this great scene where the lyrics are kind of telling you how she feels.
Yeah, she stares at the wall and he's staring at the disco ball for 90% of the song. It's just almost
and you listen to the lyrics, and it's basically like how she's thinking of dealing with this scenario that she's now in.
He walks up to her, like he gets closer and closer, like he's gonna embrace her or touch her.
So I'm not familiar with this song. So like, what is the song about?
Hold on.
Oh yeah.
I don't know the name of the song. But
try to type fast.
I am trying to type.
The song is called Death.
The song's called Death. Let's see if I can pull up the lyrics here.
And
I love the feeling when we lift off, watching the world so small below. I love the dreaming when I think of the safety in the clouds out my window. I wonder what keeps us so high up. Could there be a love beneath these wings?
Right. And so the scene actually ends up. So they embrace, and I'm trying to see where.
Wonderful lyrics at the bottom.
So the last line that they end on is, "That's why everything's got to be love or death." And on that line, they're like
face to face,
kind of almost embracing, not like a full-on hug, but she's sort of like nuzzling into him. Yeah. And so that scene ends.
No, she puts her head on his chest.
Oh, right.
And it's the moment you see that line, you see her decide between attacking and living, and she puts her head on his chest and you hear his heartbeat.
Right. Yeah, that was awesome.
As you know, that comes up over the end of the song.
Wow.
It's really a great.
And it's just literally this whole song plays out, and nothing is happening. Like nothing like, there's no action or anything. They're not, making out or anything like that. It's just this quiet moment of, and I think it's mostly about her.
Yeah, it is.
Of her deciding what to do. I think in a way she finds him kind of cute. You don't really know too much, but I guess a lot of the other men that she's been in contact with are horrible human beings.
They've been douchebag, coke addict, drug dealer, tiger men.
Yeah. And actually, throughout the movie, well, 2 out of the 3 kills that she makes are people who have been directly disrespectful to the same woman. I think that's. I don't know if that's just a matter of there not being a lot of female characters, but it's not that they're trying to abuse Shada or her friends.
Like a lot of the descriptions, especially a lot of the description we've read, including the one on Netflix, is she's a vampire that is killing men that have wronged women. Which I guess is true on the surface, but I don't really know.
It's interesting because it's not any woman; it's always a prostitute who you see throughout the film.
Yeah, she actually. So after this scene,
she follows.
There's like a weird scene with Arash and his dad, where it's kind of like a throwaway scene. He's like Arash is all lovey-dovey, he's seeing hearts, and the dad's like, you're an idiot.
Because it didn't turn out so well for his dad.
Yeah, I think the wife died, right?
No, she left him.
Did she leave? I wasn't sure if she died.
I don't think you have that level of rage if it were a death. I think it was she walked out on the family.
Yeah, that's true. So then so we're back with the girl, and she's following the prostitute. The scene opens with the prostitute finding the car, Arash's car, and I guess still thinking it belongs to the pimp. She keys it.
Oh.
And so when she turns around, the girl is there.
Mm-hmm.
And the girl follows her.
I'm not your teacher.
Yeah. So the prostitute thinks that she wants to be a prostitute too. And they go back to the prostitute's place. And there's
like this is how you prostitute correctly.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
She's actually not a really good prostitute. She doesn't really do any prostitute.
Well, you don't know that.
It doesn't seem like there's a lot of people in this town to prostitute.
Well, that's awesome.
But
no, the girl has a kind of a long said, "I could tell you about yourself."
Yeah.
And she talks about, but really, she's talking about her own self. She's not really talking about. I think it's mirrored. They both feel the same way, but it's definitely not just Ati who has been so long that she can't even remember what she wants.
Right. Yeah. So the girl is talking about. She's saying lines like, sometimes you forget what wanting even is. You've been alive for so long, you see the same thing every day.
Nothing ever changes.
And nothing ever changes. And she's talking in the conversation directed towards the prostitute, but I think she's actually talking about herself, which goes to why when she meets Aresh for the first time, she's endeared by him because he's different. He's something new. He's not a creep. He's not a douchebag.
He's definitely, throughout this whole movie, he's got an innocence to him.
Yeah.
He's...
Which is...
or at least as much as you can in that world.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's all these quiet moments that really just kind of make the movie. Like, you really have to pay attention to... there's not a ton of dialogue.
So tell us about the cat.
The cat.
Okay.
Cat. Yeah.
So the cat is currently living with...
Arash. It's Arash and his dad's cat.
Right.
And my feeling is it was probably their mother's cat, the wife's cat.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I don't see why they would have kept it otherwise.
I mean, some people you just find a random cat.
And it's a well-fed cat.
Yeah.
Not a street cat. He's kind of in every scene you see with Arash and his family.
Mm-hmm.
He's there when the pimp goes to the house. He's there when they're at the dinner. And
Mr. Kitty is his name.
Mr. Cat.
Mr. Cat. Yeah, Mr. Cat. You're right.
Is it Mr. Cat in English or Mr. Cat in Arabic?
They translated to Mr. Cat in the subtitles.
So it's not them saying in English Mr. Cat.
No, but that would be great.
It's Mr. Cat in Arabic. Although the cat's real name is Masuka.
Yeah. That's the name of the cat that plays.
He's credited in the credits. And,
Aww.
He's got hours going towards SAG now, I guess. For the animal version. And then we're actually at the point where, and the cat comes into play here. Arash's father has gone so far into withdrawal, he basically goes a little crazy. He's hearing things, and he's talking to the cat. And it's this frenetically lit scene of him freaking out and yelling at the cat.
And this is where we were really like terrified for this cat. Like,
the cat,
oh my God, what's going to happen?
It goes back and forth between the guy freaking out and this placid cat, and just close-ups of his face and his eyes, and like, what's going to happen? And
yeah, so the dad's like, you know,
fights with
he's throwing pictures and trashing the place, and he's like, you know, this cat, it's your mother, her eyes, why is she judging me? Meanwhile, the cat's just like, what am I doing about this? This is terrible. You fed me since this movie started.
This cat is secretly your mom.
Yeah, right. So, you know, Arash
comes out and throws out his father.
And throws out his father and says, he throws him heroin, throws him all the money, and says, take the cat
and get out.
Hmm.
So again, you're worried for the cat, because now the cat is with the
crazy
drug addicted man.
Who
withdrawals.
The ghost of his new wife.
Someone that's going through withdrawals.
Yeah. So I guess we should put everybody's heart at ease.
The cat remains fine.
The father takes the cat to the prostitute's house.
To Adi's house?
Yeah, Adi's house, right. And
tries to seduce.
Yeah, there's like a weird.
This is kind of the most uncomfortable scene in the movie.
He makes her dance, or he asks her to dance, and then he's trying to get her to take heroin
with him,
and you're like, okay, and he like ties her hands up with the belt. And
he basically drugs her.
Oh,
but he just cuddles with her.
And then they're laying there, and she's nodding, and he's
so.
And then the girl comes.
The girl comes and kills the father.
Yeah,
but the cat is fine, and that's the important.
The cat is fine.
And then she unties
the cat.
leaves all the pimp's jewelry for Ati, and takes the cat back to her flat.
Oh, so she is totally watching Adi's house.
It seems like it,
watching Ati the whole movie.
And there's a weird scene where so the cat's freaking out that the father is attacking Ati. Attacking is, I don't know if that's the right word.
Well, he does drug her. That's a pretty big deal.
It's a little rough. And the way it's shot, it almost is like as if the girl can sense the cat's fear or something, because like
you see the cat and then you see her, and then she comes in.
And she comes in,
which is odd because
it was really weird, but it kind of went into this vampire mythos a little bit, but I might be reading into it too much. The scene before that involves, real quick, Arash invites the girl.
This is a while. What's the hamburger said was
and it's again this another really weird scene where like he's got the car and it's in front of the industrial plant, and he brings her hamburgers. It's like
a date at the drive-in. They're there to watch the oil race.
Yeah. She doesn't like hamburgers.
Well, I don't think so. Ati gives her a plum, and she just calls it too.
Oh yeah, I did.
So she obviously doesn't eat real food.
Right. But it's never said. It's just sort of implied, which is really cool.
It makes sense why she wouldn't have to have a kitchen in her.
Yeah. It's just
in a basement.
a bed, but she's got a great record player. She's kind of like the hipster vampire. Like, her entire flat looks like it was decorated by Urban Outfitters.
So she takes the cat back to her flat,
right.
and she and Ati drag the father, Hossein's body, to the alleyway, where it's found the next morning
by the little boy.
And then subsequently
Arash. I don't know how Arash ended up there.
Did someone go find him?
The little boy, maybe. I don't know.
I think he just heard the hubbub and came out.
It's a very small town. I think there's only one street.
Yeah. What was his reaction?
He freaks out.
He freaks out a little bit, and it's
a greedy kind of freaking out, not angry. Yeah, he's not looking for revenge or anything. I think it's
because finally he gets back in his car, and like there's like this weird like kind of like tilty camera angle where it's like almost shot from like the dashboard on the passenger side, and he's just driving really kind of like anger. And then he goes to the girl's flat. Meanwhile, in some of these scenes, the girl is dreaming, where there's like a tunnel, and at the light of the tunnel, Arash is coming closer to her. And as the dreams progress, he gets closer and closer. And in this one scene, you can actually, before he was all in shadow, and then all of a sudden, you can kind of make out his features.
And then he knocks on the door.
No, she wakes up and goes to the door.
And he's there.
And he's there, like, sitting on the floor.
So he is somehow sending her psychic dreamy things.
Or he is, well, she's just having prophetic dreams.
Yeah.
It would probably be more likely that he's a force of change or that he's, she chose him in whatever way.
Nothing like weird supernatural or anything.
Yeah, I wouldn't push it the supernatural way. But he walks to her house and says, pack your bag, we're leaving.
He just goes into her apartment.
He just walks into her house.
Like, she opens the door.
They've gone, that was, to me, was a little funny. Like, he perceives this deep relationship, but they've gone on a half a date.
Right.
He doesn't even know her name, and he's like, get your things.
He walks into her apartment, sits down on the bed, he's like, we have to go, pack your things. And she's just like...
Okay. Well, no, she thinks about it.
She thinks about it. It's quiet. There's not like a conversation about it. He's just kind of like, I can't be here anymore. Why don't you come with me? We'll go away. We'll leave Bad City. And for a second, she thinks about it and then just picks up one bag. It's like a little not even a carry-on. Like, it looks like a purse.
Yeah, it's like a big, like a medium-sized satchel type.
Yeah.
She just puts her jewelry.
She puts all the jewelry in, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then picks up the cat, and she's ready to go.
And they get in the car, and the cat is in the back seat, and Arash is driving, and she's in the passenger seat. And you see them driving for a while.
They drive for a little while. It's quiet. He puts on the radio.
He does. And
so we get to the final scene, and it's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. So he stops the car. Now, do you want me to spoil this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
That's what this show's all about, spoilers.
Okay, that's fine. So he stops the car, and...
He's been thinking. You can tell he's been thinking, how did my cat get to her?
Oh, right, he notices the cat, right. So he stops the car, and I want to say it's at like a crossroads almost. It kind of looked like a crossroads. I don't know. It
was lit to look that way. Maybe just gonna pull off, but it's definitely symbolically he's at the crossroads of what decisions do.
So he gets out of the car, and she's just sitting there. There's no dialogue or anything, and he's pacing back and forth for like a couple seconds.
Cat's sitting there.
The cat's sitting there. The cat's in the back seat. And the cat is like, I swear, is breaking the fourth wall and is just staring at you like, I don't know what we're doing. This is.
The cat's like, what are you doing driving away with a vampire lady?
Yeah. So he gets back in the car, and they just kind of look at each other.
And they just drive off.
And the next scene is the car lights come back on, and they just drive off. And that's the end of the movie.
Like,
Okay.
both mutually know what the other has done,
Mm-hmm.
and they've just chosen not to mention it, and they just move forward into whatever is next, which is never explained.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like that. They're like,
I do too.
we've both done shitty things, so let's just move on, go somewhere else.
They say that a lot, because when he asks her name, she says, "You don't want to know, I've done a lot of bad things."
And
he says, "I've done bad things too."
So, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
she's all like, "Oh yeah, have you bitten a dude's finger off?"
You're right.
Warren is,
Have you killed your father?
yeah, it was they just never mention it again. He never mentions it to her, even though I think that the implication is that she knows that she killed his father, and they just move on.
Yeah.
It's just like a perfect ending to a movie.
Wow.
There you go.
It sounds like the kind of movie that I probably cannot have on while I'm actually working. It sounds like something you have to really sit down.
It needs to be watched.
It needs to be watched.
Especially because the story is not told in the dialogue. We said it was like a comic book or a graphic novel because 90% of the story is told through the imagery. And then just the parts that the details you couldn't get in the artwork go in the dialogue. And very successful that way.
There is actually a comic book based on the movie. I don't know which came first, but it's on Comixology.
Written by the director.
Written by the director.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Would you watch it again?
Definitely.
Yeah.
This is the second
Sounds
time
like
we actually when it first came out on Netflix last year. Last year was a great time for vampire
it was
movies.
a pretty good vampire year.
We had Only Lovers Left Alive. We had The Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, and What We Do in the Shadows, which I highly recommend.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it definitely has rewatch value. It's not like a fun-loving vampire movie, so I don't know. Like I said, you couldn't put it on
And
while you were
work
to it. But it's good.
I definitely think, based on your description, more happens in it than Only Lovers Left Alive.
Yeah, I think Only Lovers Left Alive, well, you're going to talk about that, but that's a little more of a languid moment between two people. That's a moment of eternity. You know, that movie to me, those characters have lived forever, and that moment just lingered for a long time. This was a little more...
That movie felt like it was the movie made for people who like vampire movies.
I feel like that movie would be great to get high to.
Yeah.
What was your very favorite scene, Jocelyn?
Oh. I actually really like the scene with the White Lies song. I love the way it's shot. You don't see that very often, and throughout the movie, although there is that one moment where they light her and she looks just like Bela Lugosi when you first see him as a vampire, and that's a great moment, but it's not a scene in and of itself. It's just she stands there, and she's got the beam of light across her eyes, and then the black abaya and the scarf and the length of it around her, and it's just, like a moment, just a clear nod to all the historical vampire films of the past. But really, that's where she makes the choice between, it's got to be love or death, and she chooses to listen to his heartbeat. I think that's a great storytelling moment, and they just really let it play out.
What about you, Drew?
She does kill a hobo. There's a scene where she kills a hobo, which kind of
that
throws things off.
That's why I can't get behind the description that she only kills people who are wronged women, because she does attack and kill one
Random
homeless guy laying on the street. But it's like, again, it's the way a snake would eat a mouse. It's not about him. It's not about a relationship. It seems to just be predatory.
It's very short.
Yeah, it takes a couple seconds to see her in the street.
It's a very filler kind of kill.
Mm-hmm. And you said that her fangs pop out. I was going to ask, it's totally 3D? Or do you think they hide teeth and then show the teeth?
It's CG.
Well, no, I think like they're like a second set of teeth. No, I think they're probably CG.
Yeah. Which, you can kind of tell sometimes.
Yeah.
But
I have seen
she
those
doesn't
switchblades.
pop them enough.
You only see them once.
Yeah, like it's not like she ever talks with them, so that's kind of why I think it was computer generated.
Yeah. And you said they were like hinged like snake fangs. Were they like on Lair of the White Worm type? Have you seen that one?
Oh my god, I haven't seen that in
It's been a long,
that's a long
time.
Wow. I don't know.
Maybe a
little bit. They're
I'll just
short.
have to watch it.
Really long.
Yeah, they're not super long.
They're not like
Okay.
not like she unhinges her jaw and these giant fangs come out. It's very subtle. Yeah.
Okay.
Which definitely, I think if they had done anything really crazy, it would have stood out as awkward, because the movie itself is very like down to earth.
Very subtle movie. Anyway.
It's quiet.
It's quiet. She doesn't do any like high flying. We're not talking like Underworld here, where she's like karate fighting.
The only time you see anything seeming preternaturally fast is when she attacks.
Yeah.
The rest of the time she moves with people at their level.
All right.
Awesome.
We covered the whole movie, so
Yeah.
covered more questions. So
I do have a joke that I came up with for our show.
oh yeah.
Yeah. You want to hear it?
Sure.
If the zombie apocalypse were to come to Sesame Street, who would be the first to go?
I don't know.
The Shuffleupagus. And then the second to go would be Gordon.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Gordon. Gordon's still
Bad puns.
Yeah. Ask one of my toddler nibblings if Gordon is still.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for watching.
Yes, thank you for being on too.
Say your website one more time for people.
Sure. So we do a webcomic called My Blackstone Bench. Jocelyn writes it, I do the art. You can find it at drewroush.com.
All right. So check that out, people, and thank you for watching.